Here's more wrestling news for April 26, 2023, and we're starting off with Raw, which saw the introduction of the new World Heavyweight Championship, and a new champion will be crowned at Night of Champions next month. Triple H did not disclose how the first holder of the gold would be determined, but some names have been thrown around backstage for quite some time. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that WWE has had plans for a second world title for months, and it was an idea pitched not long after Roman Reigns unified the WWE and Universal Championships. It wouldn't be until earlier this year that WWE decided to commit fully to the idea of a new title, with Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre being favorites at the time. Meltzer went on to say that with Drew's current contract situation, it's unlikely he'll still be in the running, but some have said that the promise of another world title run could be what lures Drew to re-sign. During Raw, Rollins seemed like the favorite to be the champion, given that he spoke passionately about the title not being about politics or part-timers like a certain tribal chief. Ultimately, it'll be Triple H's call as to who becomes the World Heavyweight Champion, but who do you want to see leave Jeddah with the gold? Sound off in the comments. One man who's no stranger to being world champion is Edge, an 11-time world champion, but the clock is ticking if he wants a 12th. This past January marked 3 years since Edge's miraculous return from retirement, but during the Impulsive podcast, the Rated R superstar gave an honest timeline of when his career will end again. Edge said that he has a wish list of things he still wants to do in the ring, but said that he has another year in him where he'll be able to compete at the elite level he feels the fans deserve to see. The Hall of Famer's biggest fear is that he'll one day be a chore for younger wrestlers in the ring, who would have to work extra hard just to get a decent match out of the 49-year-old legend. This October, Edge will hit the big 5-0 and has previously said that he plans to retire in Canada, as the former world champion has the chance to end his wrestling career on his own terms. During Eric Bischoff's WWE debut in 2002, Jerry Lawler quipped on commentary that he could recall Vince McMahon wishing death on Eazy-E during the Monday Night Wars, and McMahon nearly got that wish very recently. On his 83 Weeks podcast, Bischoff explained that he added too much psyllium husks to his smoothie, which Bischoff needs for its fiber content as he is hypoglycemic. Bischoff recalled passing a lot of blood in the bathroom and waking up feeling dizzy with an alarmingly low blood pressure, and blacked out on the floor when he tried to go upstairs. When he came to, his wife called for an ambulance, and during a shower, Bischoff blacked out again, falling in the shower and cracking his head open. At the hospital, the medical staff couldn't determine what was wrong, and after being sent home, Bischoff felt sick the next day and ended up in the ICU. The plan was for Bischoff to undergo intestine surgery, which was delayed as the hospital didn't have enough of his blood type, resulting in the Hall of Famer being airlifted to another hospital. Eventually, it was discovered that the psyllium husks were to blame, as the amount Bischoff had taken was too much, and it tore up his intestines, which were not healing properly. Bischoff was close to death twice during the bleeding, but it seems that he is better now, and we're wishing him a speedy recovery after this very scary situation. Over to NXT now, as Ruca has been proving herself each week in the ring, but this week, the young star became the latest name to be attacked outside the Performance Center. In a video shared by the NXT Anonymous Twitter account, Ruca was being followed while she confirmed some plans to go to the beach with Danny Palmer and was attacked by an unknown individual. Palmer ran outside to check on her friend shortly after the attack ended and immediately called for medical assistance, and the person shooting the video was not seen by Palmer, Ruca, or even the attacker. Ruca is hardly the first superstar to be attacked outside the NXT Performance Center, as Nikita Lyons and Wendy Chu were both ambushed outside the center over the past year. The parking lot outside the Performance Center is quickly becoming just as dangerous as stepping foot inside Hell in a Cell or the Elimination Chamber. And who do you believe is behind these attacks? When the COVID-19 panic gripped the world, many businesses opted to have their employees work from home, and some have kept that practice in effect. WWE was one such company that emptied its offices in the name of protecting its employees, but now this work-from-home policy is coming to an end. According to PW Insider, an email sent to employees by Nick Khan said that the work-from-home policy will end on May 1st and that everyone is expected back in the office. In the email, Khan expressed the importance of face-to-face interactions, and the WWE CEO added that we will all connect better and be better. It's an interesting move for WWE to ditch the work-from-home policy, given that it wasn't too long ago that WWE announced plans to maintain a hybrid model of working from the office and at home on a permanent basis. The pandemic was an unprecedented time for businesses, with many having to make major changes. But for the employees of WWE, the days of slipping out of bed and working all day in your pajamas are coming to an end. At NXT Stand and Deliver, Indy Hartwell captured the NXT Women's Championship, besting 5 other opponents, including former champion Roxanne Perez, in a ladder match. Since then, Hartwell has been on a serious roll, but her future as champion is in serious doubt after this week's show. During NXT Spring Breakin', Hartwell defended her title against Perez and Tiffany Stratton, and when Stratton hit a moonsault to the outside, Hartwell landed very badly on her ankle. The injury resulted in Hartwell being taken to the back by medical staff while the match continued in the ring, and while she did return, it was clear to the fans that she was far from 100%. The finish saw Hartwell, who was limping at this point, pull Stratton out of the ring so that she could hit her finisher on Perez and retain her NXT Women's Championship. At this time, there's been no update on Hartwell's condition, and if this injury was as legitimate as it looked, but we'll keep following her story for further updates. Hartwell wasn't the only champion left worse for wear at Spring Breakin', as the show saw NXT champion Carmelo Hayes defeat Grayson Waller, but his victory was short-lived. Post-match, Bron Breakker emerged out of nowhere and speared Trick Williams before turning his attention to the champ. Continuing his assault on Hayes, things tumbled out of the ring, and Breakker would end up spearing Hayes through part of the stage as the NXT audience looked stunned. Following the vicious beatdown, Hayes had to be stretchered out of the arena, and it's clear that the feud between the two, which saw Hayes and Breakker's reign as NXT champion, is far from being over. And we're ending today with Bayley, who despite once being one of the most beloved babyfaces in wrestling, has come into her own as a heel. This week's Raw saw Damage Control go up against the trio of Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez, and the role model had a unique strategy to help her team out. During the match, it looked like the faces had the advantage, and Bayley decided to distract the referee by flopping over the top rope and landing in the ring. While unconventional and somewhat hilarious, the spot did work for Bayley, as the referee did stop focusing on the match to check she was okay and to get her out of the ring. Ultimately, for Damage Control, this wouldn't be enough, as the Raw Women's Champion and WWE Women's Tag Team Champions got the win, and we'll have to see what's in store for Damage Control, who could be split in the draft.